So we have somebody that's made a call out post about an artist that I have actually made a video about before. So first up, we have this video posted by Jellybird 1 day ago. So that was on December 27th. And the caption of the video reads, POV that one artist that fakes art challenges. And so they color dropped a whole bunch of colors, dropped it onto the canvas, and then turned the canvas grayscale and selected a whole bunch of colors to use for the art piece. Now, if you guys don't know, this is kind of a trend that some artists have been doing, and the one that we're going to talk about has been very prolific in posting videos like this about this type of art challenge. And you know, they kind of show the sketching process, etc., and then the final piece once you're done. And then Jellybird made a second video, and this was also 1 day ago, where they literally put the artist name in the hashtags, writing hashtag YellowNest, where they're explaining how the challenge works, or more clearly, how the challenge can be faked.
So I just made a joke video on this, but I need to be so for real because people are still stupid. This is not real. You wanna know how I know?
And that piece they're referencing is one of YellowNest's art pieces.
Process picture. So what she said is that this is the grayscale picture, right? Like she turned her grayscale on and drew this. And this was the result when she turned it back on, right? Right? Wrong. This is a grayscaled image of an AI picture she found online. This is her using overlays over top of that picture. If you still don't believe me, let me show you something. I'm going to go into my settings, right? Turn on the grayscale. And if I go back, you'll notice that these are not the exact same. The tones are wrong, right? The tones are completely wrong. So she didn't.
And just pausing this real quick, I completely agree with what Jellybird is saying about the process, because the process does not make sense. And YellowNest has been called out before in the past, and I will have my other video about them linked down below as well if you would like to go check it out. But they have been known to fake their art process and for also using AI art allegedly in their art processes as well. This is like more direct to me kind of, because I was in the semi-realism art community back in like 2015, 2016, which YellowNest was also part of as well. Obviously, I never interacted with them. Like, I was not friends with them. I was way too small. I was like a peanut compared to YellowNest. They were already a big artist back then, but they were already doing some kind of like little behavior like that back then. The thing is, YellowNest can draw, and that I'm not saying they cannot. They clearly are good at art. They just take a lot of shortcuts. And so this being one of them, if you look at the two side by sides, right, what YellowNest claimed to have drawn in grayscale, and when you take the final image and you actually grayscale it, the values don't look the same. And if you are not an artist, what values basically refers to is the lightness and darkness of your image. So if you see here in what she claimed she drew, the face is really light and almost like one shade, right? Like one shade of gray on the face. If you take her final result and then turn that one black and white, you will see there's a lot more values in the face, right? The eyelid area is a lot lighter than the nose bridge, and the chin here also has some darker colors as well, which makes more sense. You know, your face typically is not one flat color. There's going to be different values on it, especially when the light hits, especially if it's extremely colorful, which is what her final process looks like. But anyways, I'm done yapping. Let's go back to what Jellybird is showing in the video. I'm basically just trying to intersect that I completely agree.
She didn't use look, the grayscale's on. She just colored on top of it with the wrong tones. So I turned the colors back on. So how did she do this, right? I don't have her art program, but I know if you take a grayscale image, right?
And also, Jellybird says they don't have the art program. From my understanding, YellowNest draws in Procreate because they're always selling Procreate brushes.
You grab your colors and use either soft light or overlay, and literally draw whatever you want on it. You'll get colors. You'll get colors. You can literally do whatever the fuck you want with colors. That's what she does. Guys, it's not rocket science. That's what she fucking does. Wow, look. Do you notice something? Do you notice something? Do you guys notice something? It's literally the same fucking color. And if we overlay that, right? And then go into our settings, this is clips to you paint, but if we go into our settings, if I go to saturation, and if we up the saturation a lot, we get this like, I mean, I did a really shitty job, but you get like this over-saturated version of colors like she does. That's how she does it, guys. That's literally how she does it.
So that's the end of Jellybird's video.
You're welcome.
And here's what some commenters had to say. So somebody says, you know, the worst part is that Yelenas can draw, they just don't. And I completely agree. And that's the most egregious part to me too, is because they clearly are talented. If you look at a lot of their older art before AI art existed, they were still doing other things as well, where they would take a photograph and then trace over the photograph. It is a shortcut. Whether you consider that shortcut ethical or not, that's up to you. That's just how they did it back then. But they did hand draw it, and they can draw. They just take a lot of shortcuts now. So Marcus writes, Yelenas has been doing this for a long time. Her art, quote unquote, is just her putting blobs on the screen and then erasing it to make it look like she's actually drawing. It's all AI in her videos. And Kat says, I'm so sick of people saying, quote, Yelenas doesn't use AI. You can see the whole process, end quote, like they can't fake that. Also, their profile photo is so clearly AI. I don't know how people can't tell. Farron says, do people not believe this is AI? I don't know. I'm biased maybe because I'm an artist, but it's so obvious to me. And here is Yelenes's page. So I'm showing you their artwork, and this is a video of them doing that exact challenge. So we can kind of take a look at it. Again, please don't send hate to any artist involved. This is not a video to hate on Yelenas or anything like that. I am making this video for awareness purposes. And the reason being, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later, is because Yelenas has things to sell you. And so that's why I think it's disingenuous when you're doing this, when you're selling things in the process. So the video is captioned, drawing without knowing the colors, rainbow palette. So they select a whole bunch of colors, then swirl the color palette, and then they start selecting colors off their color palette to draw their art piece. You know, they caption it, why is this so hard? They're slowly kind of drawing over time, selecting the colors. And this was the exact piece that Jellybird was actually referencing. And these are the results. So I would say it's a bit twofold. One, the process, in my opinion, is not legitimate necessarily, which is what Jellybird was explaining. Now, I will say, I don't necessarily think it is evil to do this. Listen to me before you guys comment, okay? Because some people kept saying, oh, what are the odds you do this, but the eyelashes always end up black, the teeth always end up white, you know? They don't end up like a green, like a very, very light green, but still green. The teeth somehow always end up white, the lips always end up pink, the eyebrows always end up not black, but like a very, very dark, like black, whatever. But everything else is like random colors. Now, I don't necessarily think it's wrong to do this challenge. When you're done with it, you take it on grayscale and you're like, man, green teeth look kind of whack, and that you just go back and kind of like color their teeth in white so that it looks better for your final process. I don't necessarily think that is the end of the world if you do that, and maybe if you don't disclose the fact you did that, right? But I would have an issue with the integrity of your art process when you are selling art courses about your art process. Now, when you're doing something like that, I would say that you now have a responsibility to be honest about how you make your pieces, and that, oh, you know, like, and I think there would be nothing wrong if you just literally showed us that. Here's the final piece. Oh man, the teeth look green. Oh, let me recolor it. Oh, here we go. Now it looks better, you know? Ta-da. I don't think anybody would have hated on her if she did that. Or, oh, it looks kind of whack, you know, whatever. So that's why I have a bit of a problem with it when you are selling things and when you are making money, because this is how people get scammed. One of the commenters wrote, Albert, stating, the teeth always accidentally turn out white. Dan says, I love the fact white wasn't even on it. So I tried the grayscale trend out for myself just to see, you know, because I've done a similar art style to her. And I grabbed a photo of my roommate, Molly, absolutely beautiful. And I started drawing. And, you know, it turned out looking pretty good in the grayscale. The colors look decent. In black and white, I feel like it looked not bad. You can kind of tell something's off, though, because when you're trying to blend the colors, you can tell that when you're blending two colors that are not analogous, there's this, like, kind of, like, weird fuzziness that will happen with the two colors. So I could tell something was a little off. And boy, oh boy, when I made it back into color, I am so sorry, Molly. She is very beautiful. I made her into Shrek. How do you get it with, like, the white teeth and the white eyes? I don't know. Maybe I fucked up somewhere, but I accidentally turned her into Shrek. Now, okay, I will also say color theory is a big thing. If you were to color select the teeth, they will not turn out white, right? White are these, like, elements in the hair. Like, this little highlight area is almost pure white. The teeth are definitely a very, like, grayish shade, but still, you know, like, what are the odds? But the big thing is, if you see here, online classes, link in my bio, and then in the caption, it literally reads, online classes, how to draw realistic portrait, link in my bio. DM me for custom drawings in my Insta. And that is why I think it's disingenuous. It's because she is selling things, and she has been doing this for a very long time. So her older controversy was from faking her art process. The way she did it is she would have a completed image, and then she would erase over it. So she would have like a completed art piece, right? And then she would fake her art process by scribbling on top of it and then erasing layers to showcase the completed piece beneath it. What people found out is that she kept stating, oh, like, here are my art brushes that I used to make this piece. And a lot of people would buy their brushes hoping they could draw as good as Yelena's. Turns out she was using the brushes, but not as a brush. She was using it as an eraser. So you're not going to get the same result if you use a brush as a brush versus when you use it just to erase the top scribble layer so you can see the pretty art beneath it. People found that out. She was exposed for that process. She never made it a video addressing it or anything like that. She's just rolling with the punches and keeps doing her thing. I mean, she's getting her bag. But in my opinion, this is again disingenuous because you are selling something that will not work the way you are advertising because it's false advertisement. You're selling brushes, but the way you're showing the use case to show people, hey, you can draw like me with these brushes. No, you can erase like you with these brushes, but not draw like you. And same thing with this too, right? Where she is selling how to draw realistic portraits. So somebody might see her art piece, think it's pretty, and then want to learn how to draw like her. So you buy a course. But it turns out that, hey, this is not what you're gonna get because she doesn't draw like this. She's clearly a talented artist, but you're not gonna be able to draw in this style because this style is allegedly AI art or has some sort of AI art tracing involved in there. And I've made a video again covering that as well, so I'm not going to elaborate on that here. So it's just false advertising, which is why I'm talking about this. It's not to try to dog on an artist again, but if we go to her page, the first link is online classes. And if you look at it, it just says, learn how to draw a realistic portrait, level up your digital portraits, buy now. And for basic, for 100 USD, you can get lifetime access to all content, 7 lessons, my personal custom brush set, especially designed for line work and coloring, free color swatch set of 5 skin colors. I think that's a little bit odd to sell, but people sell color palettes. I just think selling skin tones is a little odd. Pro, lifetime access to all content, 16 lessons for 250 USD, or for VIP for 350 USD. And these are all on sale, so VIP states that it was supposed to be $500. Yeah, this to me is not it. Just personally, simply because she uses AI art in her processes and it's just false advertisement. Here's a video that she made on her page where you can really see the AI art in the process. Allegedly, I think this piece is AI art. So let's take a look, okay? So this piece is I draw Jasmine, cartoon character in reality. So Jasmine in her style, right? She's kind of like sketching it out, showing the sketching process, which again, her art process always looks very suspicious. It's always just odd, but she shows us the kind of drawing process. And this is the final piece. This is reading very AI to me. In the lower body specifically. Upper body, there's maybe some room for interpretation, right? If you look at the lower body, what exactly are the detailing on the clothing? The clothing detailing the gems really read like AI artifacts to me. And I'll point out a couple of things. One, because the gems don't make sense, right? Typically, it would be like symmetrical for the clothing detailing. If it was asymmetrical, it would have some sort of rhyme or reason. And again, somebody like Yelenas who can draw in such a high level of hyperrealism, I would imagine you would be able to draw gemstones relatively properly. If you look at the waistband of her clothing, right, the details don't match up. Like the jewel detailing on the left side of the belt does not match up with the right side of the belt. If you look at the clothing on her stomach, it doesn't make sense. Okay, I've zoomed in a little bit more so we can see here, but just take a look at this. Like, what are these like holes punched into the bottom? They don't match up on the other side. Look at the little, like, I call it like ding ding dong dong in Chinese, like little like keychains and stuff like that, little like charms, but the charms don't make any sense at all. The pin in the center of her top, it really looks like AI art and the AI artifacts that AI tends to create. And then we have this video from Jellybird. This was on November 25th, writing, I'm too tired to put effort into this video of a trace plus whitewash plus AI edited pic, bro. So it's a video of Yelenas video, and then, oh, here's the art piece. And oh, if you scroll down, oh, would you look at that? That is actually a redraw of another girl's photo. And there are a whole bunch of issues with this too. I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? One, I'm gonna say absolutely nothing redrawing from somebody's photo. Please give the person credit because they're having their likeness used. She's having people draw pictures of her, claiming it's a Jasmine redraw. Probably has no idea that they were the face of it. So I would say one, again, nothing wrong with redrawing somebody's photo. Just put the photo there too, so we know. But I would say it's once again disingenuous, right? Because Yelenas is claiming that this is her idea, the way she phrased it in her video. Cartoon character in reality, Jasmine redraw. Like, the way the video is worded and framed is as if this is Yelenas's reinterpretation of Jasmine. But it's not. It's because it's an actual person that they're redrawing. And third, again, it's the AI art, because Yelenas draws in a realism style, right? So let's just take a look at this. So you are telling me that Yelenas can draw the face 1-to-1, which, by the way, in my previous video, my theory of it is that Yelenas just straight up traces off the image, but like the actual photo image, to make it look photorealistic, which I had showed examples in my previous videos about it. She's been doing this for years, since like 2016, since I've remembered, because things are a little too similar with like the eye shape, stuff like that. Again, nothing wrong with referencing images, but if you're fully tracing off a photograph that is not even your photograph and it's not even you because it's somebody else, we're crossing ethical boundaries, in my opinion, there. But then you're telling me that somebody who can draw in this hyper-realistic style cannot make the clothes the same? Like, look at the detailing on the shirt, on the gems, right? In the clothing that the actual person is wearing, it makes a lot of sense. You know, the gemstone has these chains on it, there's little beads dangling beneath the top, and then there's little sequin beads dangling on the bottom as well. So why do all the clothing detail that's added to Yelenas's piece make no sense, right? Again, we have like a hole cut into the waistband. We have like a weird triangular top on the sapphire on the waistband as well. There are what looks to be like seeds on the waistband. And again, the detailing on the top don't add up as well. So to me, this looks like the photograph of this person was fed into AI, and then Yelenas kind of like added some brushstrokes on top of that and then claimed it to be their artwork, and then reverse engineered the process to make the piece. And my final piece is the hand, right? Look at the hand here. Here we have the hand from the girl. Look, I'm not trying to dog on any beginner artist who struggles to draw hands. I struggle to draw hands. Hands are hard to draw. But if you're telling me that somebody can get the face to this level of accuracy because they're extremely skilled at realism, but the hands look kind of off, I don't know, right? That to me is just a little bit of a red flag, because somebody of this skill level would be able to draw the hands a little bit better. And my theory is possibly because they fed the piece into AI, they got the result back. The hands probably look jank because AI cannot draw hands well, so they redrew it themselves and it just came out looking a little bit more scuffed. But anyways, to wrap this all up, I am curious about your thoughts down below. Again, this video is not made to dog on Yelenas or another artist. It's because the fact that they are doing this, faking their art processes, allegedly using AI in the process, and then selling a course with false advertisement because they're marketing using their art pieces that were not, in my opinion, ethically made. It's false advertisement. It's gonna sucker people into spending money on things that they're not gonna get the full value for, which is why I'm making another video about them. So I'm curious about your thoughts down below. Do you think the grayscale painting process was faked? Do you think it's legitimate? Do you think that they use AI in their process, or are they an artist that genuinely shows their art process and people are just dogging on them for no reason? I'm curious about your thoughts down below in the comment section. So be respectful, and again, please don't send hate to Yelenas, okay? They're just doing their thing. I just don't want you guys to get scammed. That's it. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to go check out my Ko-fi. I do have free art and resources there. I also have an Etsy shop in which I sell art and overlays for Twitch streamers, and I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos. Peace.